DISPNSER. Come get your head. Come get your head.
Whoa. So, Jeffrey Epstein was found in his cell, injured, not dead. It seems to be an apparent suicide, rather than a jailhouse kind of just beating or something like that. Pedophile. It's a long list with him. I don't take suicide stuff lightly. I feel bad for people who are in pain. This guy, not so much, right? I just don't. Sorry, but yes. So Jeffrey Epstein, 3 doors down from El Chapo, mind you, found in his cell, injured, neck marks, from what I'm understanding, from just some preliminary source. And also, when I looked on Twitter, and there's someone I really kind of trust, and I know he has good sources. He had the same idea. It was a attempted suicide. So you're not gonna hear probably that information just yet, but probably heard it here first here at the Red Pill News Dispensary. We like to be first on things sometimes. A few of the things we've talked about is when Jeffrey Epstein got arrested in the first place. We a lot of people I'd known about him. I had been looking into him for like a year and a half, due to Q. But all of a sudden, I did a report on how charges might be coming down the pike. Later that week, charges came down the pike. Now, a few days ago, we did Ilhan Omar, and Ilhan Omar. All of a sudden today, despite everything with Bob Mueller, all of a sudden people are starting to talk about her marriage to her brother. People are starting to talk about what her real name is. People are starting to talk about the voter fraud in Minnesota. And, Q keeps on referring to things saying that, you guys are the news now. And it's like, it almost like blows my mind. And then even today, I wanted to give a fresh opinion on Bob Mueller. And I said certain things. I was talking about how, the Democrats thinks it's the first act and it should be the last act, but let them do it. Laura Ingraham said that word for word. And the same thing with that, obviously a lot of people got the same impression that he came off as a senile old man that was just a figurehead. That's all he was. They say never meet your heroes because they can only disappoint you. Well, the Dems met their hero today. A senile old man who was just a figurehead, who didn't even know what Fusion GPS was. Now, I forgive if any of you guys don't know what Fusion GPS was, but Fusion GPS is a shadow company of the Clinton Foundation that bought and paid for the dossier, the Steele dossier that led to the FISA abuse through the FBI. It all started there. And he wasn't hired to look into President Trump. He was special counsel to look into the matter of meddling in the election. Well, what more do you need to know than this meddling all started with Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation paid for through GPS, Michael Steele dossier that ended up with the FBI. They obviously went with it. Comey still went forward with it. And they lied to the FISA courts and Five Eye. They used Five Eyes is like it's Canada, U.S., UK, Australia, New Zealand. So we can use UK to spy on our people. They can use us to spy on Australia. You know what I mean? It's like it's their way of kind of circumventing the Constitution. And so he didn't even know. He goes, Fusion GPS, what's that? What's okay? And then the guy would say and then there was another question somebody asked him, and he goes, well, what page is that on? He's like, it's not on a page, it's my question. It's like, it seems like the guy didn't even write it. It seems like, not only that, it seems like he's been under a rock. I mean, he's supposed to be this rock star prosecutor, and I feel bad. I don't really want to pile up on him. the Democrats would if it was the other way around. They have no morals. This is a decorated Marine. I do like. I felt bad watching it, and I kind of felt bad talking bad about him. But you know what? It's done so much damage to this country, and it's brainwashed so many people. I mean, I live in Boston. I have so many people around me that are so brainwashed. But it's just the truth. It's a slow drip, and it seems to be very effective. What's going on? But the breaking news, like I said, Jeffrey Epstein, if you're just joining us, 3 doors down from El Chapo, found in his cell. It was reported as injured. I had a source, cross-referenced someone I trust. They had a source, same story, attempted suicide apparently. So with that, I will open up the phones. This is about you guys. I think today is a big win. If you're for President Trump, if you're not for President Trump, hopefully it's an eye opener. Because this is I don't think that people just want to be like, you owned. I hope it doesn't. I don't want to come off like that. I want to see this country more unified, because we're better like that, right? We're a very strong country when we unite. Unfortunately, in the past, it's been for the wrong things. I mean, 9/11, it was a nice feeling. That's when I joined the military, under that feeling, of us united. It might have been for the wrong reasons, and then we might have been tricked. But I don't know if the American people are going to be tricked so much anymore. I just don't. I just think the day of us falling for cheap headlines, we're starting to figure out this internet stuff, and a lot of big noises, not too much substance. So now, because I was mute at the beginning, sorry for that. I just wanted to get that information out there. I don't know if New Mexico, in Chicago. I know you were calling to tell me. I don't know if New Mexico is calling to tell me that as well. But I'm opening up the lines. I know, right? I agree, Lori. Do we really believe that he didn't know about Fusion GPS? I agree. That's exactly what I said. I was talking to one of the mods earlier. I said, I said, I don't believe that he doesn't know what Fusion GPS is. I think he's playing an old senile man. I think he played that a little bit, but there were too many authentic moments. And this guy is a straight-laced old Marine. All right, he's not an actor. Some of the stuff was just too convincing. I mean, Democrats trying to throw him softballs. They're like, one of them said, hey, so he asked him the question. He said, that one of the Democrats, he said, he goes, you look into that. He goes, what did he say? He said, it was a real softball, and it really was an eye-opener. Oh, it was about Fusion G. No, that was a Republican. So one of the Democrats had asked him a softball question. And he started saying, well, I don't know. And he's like, what page is it on? And then he's like, it's not on any page. This is my words. This is my question. He's like, oh. And then he asked the question. He's sitting there fumbling. He's like, it's not a trick question. And then he goes, oh. And then he goes, oh. He said, this is what he said. He said, who appointed you, to whatever position he was, back in the 80s, right? And he goes, I believe it was George Bush 1. And he goes, well, it was Ronald Reagan, but according to my notes. And he goes, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's what it is. And he's like, okay, yeah. And he tried to laugh at a funny moment. The whole room was kind of whoa. Because that was just a Democrat throwing him a softball. It was a lead-in question. He was just trying to establish how long he's kind of been in, and that, the Republicans were trying to attack the fact that they said, listen, I mean, once they started seeing that he was just a figurehead, it became pretty obvious pretty early in that, just in the morning session, that he was just a figurehead. And I think the Republicans saw that, and they said, So they started asking him kind of questions to really emphasize that, which was done pretty easily. And I think once they established that he was just a figurehead, then it became more so about the Democrats kind of went on the defensive a little bit, and I think that's why he was asking that question, trying to say like, because then they started going into, well, who really did run this whole thing, right? You had what was his name, Weissman, something like that. You had, at one point you had Stork on there. So a lot of people like that were on this investigation. 14 Democrats and no Republicans. And then they started asking, I'm sure a lot of you watched it, but they started asking things like, so this is all Republicans, and I mean it's all Democrats, and did you vet them? Did you ask them? He goes, 4 of them were at the party for Hillary Clinton had she won. Like, that's the first thing they do when you select a jury. Even you select a jury. Forget about the investigator. You ask them. You make sure there's no conflict of interest. So they started really ramming that home, and I think in an attempt to make it sound like hey, a Republican is the one who appointed him as an attorney in the first place in the 80s. Republican President Reagan, but he couldn't even answer. He thought it was George Bush Sr. So it's sad. It's a sad man. It's sad older man. But that's what that was. And I don't really want to pile on him, although it's done a lot of damage to this country. I just hope that the country can kind of get together and basically. Also, I just want to make sure I repeat for anyone coming in. I see a lot of people coming in. So Jeffrey Epstein was found in his cell. He was found. Apparently attempted suicide, and he might just be trying to get moved. He supposedly went to jail before, but he didn't go to a real jail. He got to leave. Who gets to leave jail and go to work all day in their office, in their multi-billion-dollar office? 6 days a week you got to leave jail for 13 hours or something like that. He never went to a real jail. He went to one of those fake jails. Now he's in a legit jail 3 doors down from El Chapo. Lasted what, a week, 10 days? And he was under. Once you get in there, if you are in there for stuff like that, you go in there PC, you go in there also under suicide watch, like big time, which is probably why he's alive. But at the beginning, it would have been impossible for him to even almost commit that act and almost kill himself. But apparently. That's what's going on with that. So let me check out the chat. Let me see, because this is a breaking story. Like, it had just came out when I went live. Oh yeah, he does deserve it. I'm just saying, I do take suicide lightly, so I don't want to like laugh and things like that. I don't take it lightly with him, but in general, someone in the audience might have something with suicide. Somebody in their life, but. Yeah, so apparently he attempted suicide, and I'm happy that he wasn't successful. I want him to face this. I want him to have to go to the trial, have all that. I want him to have to talk about every name in that black book. I want it all to get out, and I think that's part of the plan. I do. They're not going to let him commit suicide, especially now. He's going to be in what they call the turtle suit. Now, the turtle suit, you don't ever want to be in the turtle suit because it's just like a big green, like, bubble. It's like being wrapped in, and you're just stuck. You can't like do stuff, and you're just like, that's what he's gonna be living like. So nothing nice over there. But hey, you mess with kids for this many years and get away with it because of your money, to the point that you're building these like satanic temple things, and with the owl over it and the phoenix and. It's sick stuff. I know, it's amazing how he even tried. I know. He has the type of money. I could, it might have even just been that quick, But, he has the type of money. Maybe he could have gotten something from somebody in jail. Not that I don't think anyone would want to help him in jail. I mean, they're the first ones to go down, are the pedophiles. But you know, in a situation like that, I can kind of see it. So let me see. Yeah, just found injured more later. Yeah, hey, from what I'm hearing though, it's apparent suicide. So I am gonna open up the phone lines, please. The phone number is in the description, by the way. If not, I'm gonna put it right here. I mean, not if not, it's in there, but just so anyone here, I see some new faces. So, by the way, guys, like, subscribe, get this information out there. You know, let people know. All right, we have a call from Chicago. I know who this is. Hi, Red Pill News Dispensary. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for letting me know that, by the way.
Yep, it's Scott from Chicago. What's going on?
How you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah, I was watching that press conference earlier, watched bits and pieces of it, but it is funny how, like, leftist Democrats, they were talking about how stoic and, this dude is rock solid. He's like a,
They said that, huh?
yeah, that's the way
What,
they
like on
want to paint
CNN?
them.
Yeah, it's
I
their
don't
attempt
know
to
about
create
CNN,
a
but
narrative,
on
I think.
Twitter,
One of
Yeah.
the major. Arizona, I'm going to get to you right after. You're next, okay? Arizona will be next. There's a little
Yeah,
bit of a
but-
delay, so they don't. There's a little bit of a delay, I understand. But Arizona, you'll be next. All right, so, yeah, but yeah, I noticed that too. They were almost kind of, because on purpose, I'll watch some of the left. Like, if I just watch Fox News, I don't want to just hear what I want to hear. You know, afterwards, I just want to see how bad they're trying to push it. You know what I mean? And at first, they were kind of saying that stuff. It's like, wow, and he's very deliberate in his answering and very. No, he's senile and he's having trouble remembering. I mean, it's hard to believe that he doesn't remember Fusion GPS, but you know, the tide started to turn. Once it hit the afternoon, and you could see he actually brought his deputy investigator with him, and that's sworn in with him, and you know, Nunes, the leading Republican, was like, why is he here? We don't want him on the. You know, we don't have any questions for him, you know? And that's when I sensed some weakness, and I said, he knows he's doing bad. And I think the Dems do too. Someone talked to him in that break, in between the Judicial House and the Intelligence House hearings, you know, from morning to afternoon. And then he really got peppered in that afternoon. But it was tough to watch. It was tough to watch, because he's a good man, he's a Marine. I think that he just got caught up in something that the Democratic Party isn't what it was, and it's just a bunch of crooks. And you know, they look for the cheap, quick way out, but it doesn't work like that. The judicial system's slow. But I'm sorry. I'll let you talk. I want to hear what you think.
yeah, I don't know. I disagree with him being a good guy. I mean, I appreciate the service he did for the country and stuff, but I think when he pushed that Iraq war, that weapons of mass destruction line, he was the head of the CIA, and he could have prosecuted Jeffrey Epstein back in the day.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other
Yeah,
cases.
he could have. Yeah, there is a few things like that. Yeah. He was
I
one of
don't know,
those.
man.
Yeah, he's one of those who had an opportunity at Epstein as well, along with Costa and things like that. You know. I know. But I mean, from what I'm hearing, you know, even his own friends are like, "Oh, that was horrible." You know, and they're like, "That's not him." You know, that's not the mule. I guess he was a bulldog back in the day. Makes sense, Marine. You know, there's going to be a lot of piling on, and you know, I mean, obviously there's a lot, but and I was aware about he was part of the Epstein thing. He might not be the best guy. I'm not saying he is, but
Yeah.
you know, as a
Crazy
veteran,
thing is,
I just feel like he kind of got caught up because he didn't even know what he was getting into. He that wasn't his investigation. That wasn't.
Yeah,
he
he
was
probably
a
got pressured
figurehead,
into it.
and that's all he was the figurehead with the name, no substance, and that's kind of goes with a lot of stuff these days. A lot of clickbaity, you know, kind of crap, you know, a lot of bells and whistles, but no actual substance. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, you know what's crazy is this is Trump. He's 3.5 years out into his presidency. I think it's like 3 years.
Yeah.
And we're still talking about this. There's people still believe the Russian narrative stuff.
Yeah.
The reason he's president because he's got help by Vladimir Putin. He's a Russian agent. Blah blah blah.
Some people are really hard-headed and they just won't listen to the facts, and it's like it's almost like they don't want to like admit they've been wrong this whole time. And that's got to be a hard thing. That's why I try to have the approach like, listen, as a Christian, like, listen, I can understand how people can get fooled. You used to be able to halfway trust the news. You know what I mean? And what it is now, it's just like almost unfathomable for people who are older. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, the news just lies like this now. It's like it's all about controlling your mind. That's hard to accept.
Remember when Chuck Schumer said, intel agencies, the intelligence agencies they can mess with you one way to Sunday, or I forget how he said it.
6 ways to Sunday, yeah.
Yep.
Something like that, yeah. 6, 7 ways to Sunday, yeah.
Yeah,
and they can.
Investigation pretty much proved that Trump, like, you mess with us, the powers that be, the powers I think that be, the Zionist, Mossad agents, kind of the Israeli intelligence, they will come down on you and make your life hell.
Yeah.
It's 3 years into his presidency, and his entire presidency is going to be tainted with this Russian stuff.
Well, I think he's gonna be remembered for how he's handled it, and that he stuck to his guns. He was tough, and he did what's right for this country. A lesser man would have kind of found a way to, get out of it in some way, or almost like succumb to it, or have that moment where it just gets to you too much, where you kind of you lose that like you just don't stay like grounded. It just gets to you after a while. That constant like peppering and just everything they dig up, everything that's said about him, it'll get to you. If it was just your name on the news, I think I look at him, I look up to him as a man as far as what he's endured, and the fact that he's not only endured it, but he's found at every corner, he's found a way to have a counter move to every move. And just slowly but surely, he just had faith in the American people, and I think that he that faith, we really grew faith in his favor in his heart as American people, especially when he was elected, overcoming those odds. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know what I mean. I think that he had faith. People are not as stupid as the news thinks they are. You know what I mean? They might believe it for a little bit because this is unprecedented, where the propaganda is so rampant, and out of nowhere.
They're so surprised and so shook that the propaganda machine, they came down hard. They put all the resources they can possibly put, magazines, radio shows,
everything
TV.
They got. Yep. Every trick in the book, and you know how he did it? Simple but relatable. Fake news, like that term alone. Mississippi, you're next. Unless, did I say someone else? You're next or second to next once I check. But terms like fake news. Don't you think that was effective? People think he's stupid because of the way he talks. Bigly. Like words that aren't really words. It's not like a vast vocabulary. But everyone relates, everyone gets it, and what matters is the thought behind it and the strategy behind what he's doing. And he has a direct line to the American people through Twitter. He's using their own social media against them. They'll ban us. I'll never get 10,000 subs. They'll never let me. But he's the president, and if they shadow ban him, you can't. It'll be too obvious. So he has a direct line. He's using their own tools against them.
That was one of his best things. Honestly, I think that's one of his most important things he did. Is discredit the mainstream media.
Yeah.
I mean, people were already skeptical of the news, mainstream media, but he really hammered it home, and he did. He put it in their mind even more. Like the people who weren't as weighted as much, he finally hammered it home. But I did want to talk about one more thing. Flynn, General Flynn. You remember when he got in trouble and people were pushing? He got in trouble, but he was lobbying on behalf of Israel. Like, did you remember that?
blogging.
He was lobbying. He was like
Lobbying, yeah. When he was talking to what was it, Ukraine or Russia?
yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to,
Yeah.
he's trying to help out Israel.
Is that
Like,
what?
something
How
with the
so?
UN. Yeah, it was something
I'm trying to
with the
remember
UN, like,
exactly because I know he was talking to Russia, and he was basically just kind of saying like some of the sanctions can be lightened. You know what I mean? Under this president. I mean, he was already named to be the national security advisor.
Yep. It was
Director.
something to do with him helping out Israel, speaking on behalf of Israel. And the same thing with Papadopoulos. That dude was doing the same thing, trying to help out Israel. And nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about
I know
Israel.
that Kushner was doing a lot of that.
Oh yeah, that dude's just a complete Zionist, Israeli first or sure. How the hell?
He's Jewish, so it makes sense. I don't know. I'll look into it though. I know Kushner was for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Kushner was definitely, and you know, but it makes sense too. You know that's what he's work. That's the part of the world he's working in, and of course he's definitely going to be biased towards Israel. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like the media. No one talked about that. No one talked about.
Oh yeah, you're not going to hear.
Israeli
Yeah.
collusion. They don't want to. They wouldn't say Israeli collusion, Israel collusion, or anything like that. But when it comes to Russia, let them.
Well, you know what they say. Certain people you can't talk about. You know.
Yeah.
And what
you
that
know,
means.
You know all about that.
You know what I mean?
All right, man.
All right.
Someone else calling then.
All right, Joe.
my
Kevin.
call, man.
Thank you. Of course. Thank you for
All right,
calling in.
bye.
All right. Bye. All right. I'm gonna get to one of the other calls real quick. So before anyone calls, let me call back the last caller. He probably just didn't know he was. So let's see. Yeah, Arizona. Calling you right now.
Verizon Wireless, your call cannot be completed as dialed.
Oh, Arizona. Feel free to call in again. But I'm going to try to call Mississippi, so you might just have to wait for after that. So I tried calling you, Arizona, and it went to a voicemail or something. Now I'm trying
The
to.
text now subscriber you are trying to reach is not available. Please leave your message after the tone.
Alright, so I tried you, Arizona, then I just tried you, Mississippi. So if you want to get on, you just have to try calling back in, but when someone's on the line. But the phones are open again if somebody wants to call in. In the meantime, let's see what the latest is on Epstein. What do you say, huh? Let's see. Epstein found in his cell with marks around his neck and injured. Not sure if self-inflicted or assassination attempt. So they're not sure. I heard from someone I know that knows somebody over there that it was an apparent suicide attempt. That's not like, you know, confirmed through the media, but. Hi, Red Pill New Dispensary. No. What? No, it's not. What? No, it's not. But what's up? Yeah. No, it's really not. But what? Is that all you want to call for? Huh? I would never give my real name over the online. Nothing to hide. Huh? Whatever. Is that why you called? You just care about me? All right. So do you want to talk about this? Ah, you ain't live. Dumbass. See, I know these people. They try to call in. See, it's like literally like it's people try to mess with this channel. All the time this happens. All the time. And I know their voices. So that's why I just kind of sit there. He was saying, he was like saying this name. He's like, oh, is your name this? And it's not my name. He got the first name right, but he got the last name right. He's like, that your name, that your name, that your name? He's like, why do you use your cell phone? And I'm like, because, you know what I mean? I have nothing to hide. I take calls. I do a show. I care about America. I'm a veteran. I was a cryptologist in the Navy. You know what I mean? I've always cared about this country. But it's people like that. They just, you know, they got nothing better to do, or, you know, they have some kind of agenda. You know, but I know I'm too shifty for these guys. Trust me. They try all the time. But if anyone legit wants to call in, I'd love to hear from you people. I'd love to hear from you people. A lot of good, you know, info out there. So while we wait, let's look into it. Let's see what we got for articles out there. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Let's see. Because the guy started swearing on the online. All right, so I'm gonna screen share here. Oh, you guys can see it up there. Okay, good. This is funny. Donald Trump's day so far. Doesn't know what. She accepts this fucking. Oh, this guy doesn't seem to have a good pulse on things. Oh, this is yesterday. That's why. Wow, that didn't. I thought all you had to put was Epstein. They come right up. Nearly unconscious in New York City jail after possible suicide attempt. Yep. So it was a suicide attempt. My source was right. So let's look at the article. I'll fully share screen, and that way you guys don't just hear it from me. Although you know you can always trust Red Pill. But we're gonna share the screen here. Although I keep meaning to watch Drop's thing about the hotkeys. That way I don't have to click around. But I will. I was watching a different video of his. Okay. So it's from the New York Post. Jeffrey Epstein found nearly unconscious in New York City jail cell after possible suicide attempt. Convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein was found in his cell on Tuesday nearly unconscious with injuries to his neck after a possible suicide attempt, sources said. Epstein was discovered by guards sprawled out on the floor at the Metropolitan Correctional Center, where he's being held without bail on sex trafficking charges, according to law enforcement sources. The billionaire financier was taken to a nearby hospital. It's unclear how Epstein suffered his neck injuries. I think it's pretty clear. Investigators believe Epstein may have done it to himself, either on purpose or as a ploy to get transferred out of jail, sources said. Remember I said that? He's not used to this real jail stuff. It was also possible that Epstein was attacked by another inmate, sources added. Possible. I mean, a lot of things are possible, but Epstein was busted July 6th, just a couple days after we shined the red pill light on him, on sex trafficking and conspiracy charges for allegedly sexually abusing underage girls at his Manhattan townhouse and his $12 million estate in Palm Beach, Florida, between 2002 and 2005. He's pleaded not guilty to the charges and appealed the judge's decision to keep him behind bars pending a trial. So there's that story. And I'm gonna get this story out, and I'm happy I'm the first on it, because you know what? There's gonna be people who call and they're gonna try to do stuff like that. Look at what that last caller tried to do. it just shows where they stand. I mean, they don't want this type of information getting out. They're trying to protect someone like this. I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, because people, I have like multiple different people who do the same thing. They just try to like say a bunch of swears and racist stuff as fast as they can, real quick. But I catch them every time. They think I don't realize. They're gonna have to start using like voice changes. And plus, now I do a thing where I try to call the numbers back, because if I call the number back, it's not. They use a scrambler. They're too pussy to use their own number. That was one of his questions. Why don't you use your real number? Why do you use a number that you use also? I'm like, well, I have more than one phone and I have nothing to hide. Unlike these people. So eyes on. Epstein found injured in New York City jail cell after possible suicide attempts. See, this is when I find Twitter useful. I don't really use Twitter for many other purposes, except when a big story is breaking. It's perfect. You get a feel for what people's first initial feelings are about it, and you get the latest. Check this out. We'll read this one too. Try to get a couple different, hopefully they're not exact replicas. Epstein was found semi-conscious with marks on his neck, sources said, and investigators are trying to piece together exactly what happened. Accused pedophile and wealthy Manhattan financier Jeffrey Epstein was found injured and in a fetal position inside his cell. Wow, he was found in the fetal position. Found in the fetal position. That's weird, huh? He was trying to hang himself. He was trying to choke himself to die. I mean, there's some ways like you can tie your hands behind your neck. I don't want to give anyone to hear this and do something stupid, but there's ways you can do it without hanging yourself in the typical way that you would think. Found in that maybe he decided not to, once you get to that last moment and it's it. I don't know. Facing death is a big thing, especially when you know where you're going. And in the fetal position inside his cell at a New York City jail. According to sources close to the investigation, Epstein, who is being held in Metropolitan Correctional Center during his trial for conspiracy and sex trafficking, was found semi-conscious with marks on his neck, two sources told Channel 4 News. Alright, see if we got a real caller here. I don't think so. The number is 666-6666. Not even lying. Check this out. Look at it. Just look at what these people try to do to make it so that you guys don't get this information, or just that this channel where it's all truth. I have a great track record. I don't just report. There's other stories out there. The other day, I had them right away, and I decided not to go with them. Yeah, right. No answer that number. Now I know better. All right. Look at this. Look at this number. Look at this stuff. Look at that. So, look at that number. You guys see that? 666-6666. Now this number, I'll call it back. And that's how I know if it's legit. It's sad I have to do this, but this is what happens. When you have legit info, you gotta do stuff like that. Hello? You talk way too fast. But what's up? You're wrong. Yeah, but you're still wrong. You Go ahead. Death threat. Yeah, go ahead. What's your death threat? Huh? He actually thinks he knows where I live, but he doesn't. So at least he did say he's gonna have someone come blow my brains out, but he had the wrong address and the wrong last name. So you see what I had to put up with? I don't understand. I'm trying to expose these pedophiles and give you guys the latest news. You see me making money? No. You know, I'm a veteran. This is what they want to do. I don't give a shit. I'll never stop. I'll never stop. Because first of all, no one. I'm too secure. And if you come at me, you better come quick. And you better get the jump. Because I'm ready. You get that? I'm ready. So you better come right. Not even screwing around. Better come correct, boy. I will shoot first and ask questions later. Alright. So I'm going to end the stream. I don't need this crap. Alright, guys. So, Red Pill News Dispensary, please, thumbs up, subscribe. I'm just happy they don't have my right address. I don't like death threats. And, you know, I'm not making money. I'm not trying to scam anybody. I'm trying to give you guys good, honest news from a good, honest source, from a good, honest person. And if I'm going to get death threats, the thing is, 99% of you guys really appreciate it. But, you know, if all I'm going to get is death threat calls, I don't need it. I don't need it. Thank God he has the wrong address. But you can go to that address. So, alright, I'm about to start yelling, so